Have you ever watched your favorite booktuber and they keep talking about this book that they love with all of their heart? I'm talking about their 5 or 6, who knows, maybe even their 10-star read. And you're thinking to yourself, if they like it, I should probably read it too. Either A, you buy it and you forget about it, or B, you keep telling yourself that, but they either move on to another book or you just forgot about it. Well, this is the inspiration for this video. I picked 4 booktubers that I watched a lot from last year. I picked out the books that they said that it is their 6-star read or their favorite book of all time. I'm gonna read them and just give you my thoughts about it and just kind of, again, connect with the book community about it. Let's get started. By the way, if you don't know who I am, my name is Serene Lewis. Welcome back to my video. So the first booktuber that I picked is Shaughnessy. I'm gonna have her stuff right here and also in the description below. I feel like she's like the epitome of soft Black girl life. And one of the things that I love as well, not only just her like aesthetic, it's just how diverse her reads are. Like every time I thought to myself or think to myself, I wish I can read this book, but maybe Black. Like I think that would be like a nice, change of pace for me or something more relatable for me. She has a video out there that's like, okay, here are books that are like this vibe but Black. I'm like, you read my mind. But that's why I have this channel right now. So big, major shout out to Shaughnessy. One of the very first books that I keep hearing about her talk about, this book she reads almost every single year, and I know a lot of people rave about this book, is none other than Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. I think I mentioned in my BookTube newbie tag that I'm not a big fan of friends to lovers, but I'm trying to be a little bit more diverse and try to reach out of my comfort zone this year. I picked out this book. I heard about it a lot. People keep saying how it's great. I didn't realize that it's actually 2 people that wrote this. I thought it was like 1 person. That's what drew me to this book. I do have the soulmate equation. Maybe after this one, I'll read the next one. Who knows? But I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I did read this last year. I had a craving to read this, so I read it and I finished it pretty fast. Oh my gosh. Okay. So how do I say this? I was expecting like a nice, simple yogurt type of dish, if that makes sense. Stay with me on this, okay? It's gonna get to a point. I was expecting like the yogurt, the whipped cream, and maybe like a little bit of like a strawberry or cherry on top, right? So as I'm reading this book, I'm digging into the whipped cream, I'm digging into the cherry and the yogurt, right? But then there's another layer, and I'm like, oh, I didn't think this had another layer to it. And then it had another layer. And I'm like, oh, we have layers. So this book definitely surprised me. I think one of the things that I realized that they did so well with this book that I'm missing on other books, they did such a good job with the longing between the friends to lovers. And I think for me, that actually worked really well within the friends to lovers trope. I don't think there was any sense of entitlement, which is where I get pretty turned off of when it comes to friends to lovers. Again, I think they did such a good job with this book. And I know I'm getting ahead of myself, so I'm going to stop myself here and kind of explain the book real quick. I feel like because booktubers talk about the same book, like their 6-star read, some of their older subscribers, they're probably like, we get it, move on. Whereas new subscribers are like, oh, that looks like a cool book. I guess I have to look it up and read it, look up what it means. So basically this book is about this girl named Macy. You find her kind of living her life. She's engaged at this point and she's just doing her thing. And then all of a sudden she meets Elliot. And Elliot and her, they used to be neighbors at this nice summer house area. And you kind of go back and forth between then and now of when they first met, how things kind of flourished between them, and what happened now and why is it like that. They're very distant with each other right now. You get to know why later on, and that's basically it. Now, one of the things that I heard about this book, and not just from Shaughnessy, but just from everyone else, is how cozy this book is. It's very much catered towards book lovers. I do stand by that for sure. I love the imagery that Christina Lauren did with this book. It makes me want to go to a lake house or a little cabin somewhere in the mountains and just read my books there. Like, I honestly feel like doing that. The way that I'm remembering, and I'm also just kind of like reminiscing about the feeling I had with this book. It just makes me so proud and so happy that there are other people out there that just genuinely love books like these characters do. But that's basically the summary of the book. My rating, I'm still between ratings, honestly. I think for now I'm gonna go with a 3.5. It wasn't bad. It's just, again, there were so many layers of this story that I wasn't expecting. And I feel like something that did happen within this book, it happened and then we kind of jump over it or just kind of went through it. And I felt like it wasn't fully addressed Like, the characters talked about it, but I feel like the level of seriousness wasn't really handled, I guess, that well, in my opinion. I was just really shocked by that part. I do think, again, the longing was done very well. The twist, I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, not saying that there is a twist, but like, to me, it was a twist. When that was revealed to me, I was shook. And I don't know why, when I read it, in my mind, I was like, why do I feel like, I'm looking at their picture, Christina Lauren. I don't know who's who, but why do I feel like Christina and / or Lauren, one of them was like, okay, we have love in other words, it's a nice romance, rom-com like, you know, longing, friends to lovers. And the other one's just like, we're gonna add that in there. and I just, I just feel like that's what happened, where one of them was just like, we're gonna add this, just a little bit of angst, just a little bit of this. And I feel like that was well done. I do want to read more books. I don't think this is like my like number one favorite, although this is the only book I read from them. But I think I'm curious about the soulmate equation, because I know that's more STEM focused, so that's going to be more interesting for me. So yeah, this is a 3.5. All right, so the second booktuber. I recently started following her, I want to say mid 2024. And this, I'm sorry, I'm laughing because this girl is so funny. Like, I don't know how she does it, but it's just, I just love her comedy so much. And you can tell she's also so real and really genuine with her love in books. And that's none other than Kalia. And this girl is so funny. When I tell you, I used to watch her, I think she did like a 24-hour reading marathon or something like that. Or she was reading a fantasy book. And her reaction to some of the twists got me cracking up. She's so freaking funny. My hat's off to her. I love how comfortable she is in front of the camera, and you can just, it really feels like you're just on FaceTime with her. So one of the books that she definitely talks about a lot, and I see every time in her video, and I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and grab it. Eleanor Oliphant. And this is by, oh, it's completely fine, by Gail Honeyman. That's a nice last name. This one, it looks short and sweet. All I heard her say was that this girl is going through life. I think it's like a coming of age story. And then I heard social anxiety, and I was like, oh, that's me. So that's why I picked up this book. But I'm actually gonna read the back of it because it seems pretty short, and just kind of remind myself, hey, what this is about. No one's ever told Eleanor that life should be better than fine. Meet Eleanor Oliphant. She struggles with appropriate social skills and tends to say exactly what she's thinking. Nothing is missing in her carefully timetabled life, where weekends mostly consist of frozen pizza, vodka, and phone chats with Mummy. But everything changes when Eleanor meets Raymond, the bumbling IT guy from her office, whose big heart will ultimately help Eleanor find the way to repair her own profoundly damaged one. Smart, warm, and uplifting, Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine is a story of the out-of-the-ordinary heroine whose deadpan weirdness and wit will make for an irresistible journey as she realizes that the only way to survive is to open your heart. Okay, and I like how short this is too. I believe this is 325 pages. Okay, yeah, that's not bad at all. I don't know when I'll finish it, but I'm going to start reading this book today, and I do want to start including more reading vlogs format into my videos. So we're going to insert a bit of that, and I'll let you know my first update after I read maybe a good couple of chapters or so in the book. Talk to you guys soon. So some time has passed, and I think we're getting near the end of February at this point. So yeah, life be lifing, so that's why I haven't really been doing an update. But what I'm doing right now is taking out the dishes. I have about 2-ish hours before I have to go to church, so I figured I could record myself taking out some dishes, kind of rambling about what I've been up to, and then hopefully getting back into reading Eleanor. So yeah, mid-February, I got sick, so that was fun. I actually had to spend Valentine's Day sick, and that's actually one of my favorite holidays. I don't know, I just like the idea of just like celebrating love and just, you know, not even romantically, but just like with your friends and family. I feel like it's a nice, like, reflective holiday, even though it's very commercialized and seems materialistic. And I can't stand getting sick. Unfortunately, I'm the type of person where I don't get sick often, but when I do, it hits hard. Like, it takes a while for me to get out of it. So that's also the frustrating thing about it. And especially if it's like my nose that's clogged up or something, I can't stand that because I feel like I'm suffocating. I did read another book other than Eleanor. I try to read at least I usually have 2 or 3 books in my rotation at all times, just so that way I'm not too bored or I don't get into a book slump. But the book I read and finished was the Bookshop Sisterhood. I forgot who it was made by, but I'll have a picture up here. That book was so good. And honestly, but the thing that made me so happy about reading that book was it was something that I just saw at Barnes and Nobles. I saw the cover, it pulled me in, I read the back, and I was like, yeah, I didn't get it. My boyfriend got it, by the way. I'm still on my book buying ban. But, and I just sat down and read it right when I got it too. That's something I'm really proud of myself. I feel like that's something I'm trying to work on because I still have, I'm pretty sure I'm still in the hundreds if I'm being quite honest. I'm pretty sure I have like over 100 books that's in my TBR right now. So I'm glad that I was able to like add one and then subtract one because of how fast I read that book. The book shop Sisterhood basically is about four friends who decided to make or not decided to make, but they decided to open up a bookshop together. And the way that the friends interact, honestly, this could be a movie. I think it should be a movie. My mom told me that it reminds her of the Yaya Sisterhood or the Yaya series, I want to say. I don't remember if that's the actual name for it. But I can kind of see that though. I kind of wish it was like a series, but at the same time, the way that the author talked about the problem, fixes the problem, it wasn't short, but it was one book worthy, if that makes sense. But I am looking forward to reading more of that author's works for sure. But yeah, anywho, so we have four friends: Celeste, Yasmin, Leslie, and Tony. Yeah, Tony. So they're each of them has their own strong suits, and three out of the four are actually black. Leslie, she's white, but she's like a, you're invited to the cookout party type of friend. And I just love how they all interact with each other. They were very realistic with what each of the women are going through. Celeste is going through a rocky part of her marriage right now. Leslie, she discovers a secret within her own family. Yasmin, she's honestly, my heart goes out to Yasmin the most. I relate to Yasmin and Tony the most. But or not relate to. I relate to Yasmin the most. I admire Tony the most, if that makes sense. Yeah. So Yasmin, she's that friend that, she's just going through life, unfortunately, and she ends up winning the lottery. And love that for her. But you know what they say, more money, more problems. So Yasmin goes through with that too. Tony, the reason why I say I admire Tony is because she is like a book influencer, which obviously trying to get that level, but she's so confident and like, unfortunately though, I feel like her friends kind of forget that, confidence can only go so far. And she's definitely that strong friend in the friend group. And there's just so much stuff that goes on in her life. And she's also getting married to her fiance. And it's so much. It's really a lot. While they're all four friends are going through their stuff, they still have to work on opening the bookstore too. Crazy. So yeah, it was really good though. I liked it a lot. I think I rated it a 3.5. 3.5 or 3.75. I think some of the storyline was really good. They definitely had a good cozy vibe as well too. The bookstore that they opened up was called Books, Besties, and Bevs. So it's like part tea shop and bookshop. And they just did a really good job with the coziness aspect of it. And oh my gosh, the books that they mentioned, I need to go through it again so that way I can write it down, because you can tell it's really like four friends who really loves books and they really want to make that into a not a reality, but like a real place for other people to enjoy books too. So they mentioned so many books. I gotta like go through it. I wish you put like a list of the books that was mentioned, but it's fine. It's fine. So I read that book. Like I said, devoured it. That's pretty much the only book I like fully read. That's a lie. Yesterday, I actually read in one sitting Spy Family Volume 13. Love that anime. And the manga is going really good. I do feel like the anime is going a bit slow, but I also understand though, because the way that they were going to catch up with the way the manga ended too fast. So I understand they need some wiggle room, but in my opinion now, they have more than enough wiggle room. So whenever season 3 comes out, or 3 or 4, one of those two, whenever the next season comes out, they need to pick up the pace for sure. Without spoilers, I thought that one was really good. I felt like Anya continues to grow and she's continuing to be hilarious. I feel like you're also got some spotlight in this episode, or not episode, in this volume. And you get to meet, I'm not, without going too much into it, you get to meet two new characters that the Forager family has to like interact with more often. And I think what I'm hoping is going to happen is I think they're going to kind of highlight slash cause Yor and Lloyd to be like, oh, this is how we need to interact with each other. Oh, we need to step up our game, essentially. So I am excited about that. I did take out most of the dishes, so we're good there. I'm making cinnamon rolls for breakfast, so I'm going to put that in a pan. And yeah, get back into reading Eleanor. By the way, with Eleanor, the last thing I remember recording was her semi-stalkerish tendencies with her, the musician. And I read some more after that. I think I'm like starting to get halfway done with it, maybe a little over halfway done with it. I can't remember where I stopped at. Last thing I remember is she went to a party, and that guy's name, I think Raymond. Yeah, Raymond. Her and Raymond were just talking for a bit, I think. I think that's where I last left off. I'm trying to think of more updates to give. While this one's unraveling. That's fine. That's fine. Everything is fine. I need to throw these in though if I want to read. I'm probably going to do my makeup before I go to church. I feel like I haven't done it in such a long time, and I missed that part of getting ready. Especially like with my eyeshadow, and I don't use eyeliner. I do the eyeshadow hack. So I want to get back into that. So I'll probably record it, but just know it's going to be done wrong. And I don't need people that are mean to tell me that. Like, I can't stand when someone on their videos like, oh yeah, this is probably wrong, or oh, this is how I do it, but take it with a grain of salt. And then all the comments are like, you're doing it wrong. It's like, I already told you that, but thank you for the observation. So, but current things I've been doing other than reading, I don't think I'm in a reading slump. Slash, I feel like reading slumps are totally fine. It's not the end of the world. I do think, though, you do sometimes have to force yourself to read. And that's not necessarily bad. It's just, romanticize it. Romanticize setting it up. Romanticize you grabbing a book from your TBR and keep it going. Or, and this is what I usually do, because I know a lot of people, they have tips on how to get over a reading slump. Let it happen. Like, do your other hobbies. Because, don't get me wrong, I love reading with everything within me. But I have other hobbies too. And the beauty about reading is that there's so much you can read about. And so much you can read about that pertains to your hobby, or you can get inspired off of. For example, I mentioned before I watch anime. I'm currently watching One Piece. Yeah. And every time I watch One Piece, I want to read. Wait, I have a bookshelf over here, but I don't have the book over there, so I'll put a picture of it. I want to read, it's like the adventures of this pirate or so. And I already bought that book during one of the last good Barnes and Noble sale in December. And I've been telling myself, okay, I want to read it, but obviously, there's a time and place for it. Every time I watch One Piece, I want to read that book so bad. And I'm going to get there. I don't know when, but I'm going to get there. Hold on real quick. 23, 27. I don't know if you guys do this, but 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Okay, 23, 27, 24, 20, 25 minutes. Okay.
Okay, a 25-minute timer called cinnamon rolls. Starting now.
Ooh, that's a new sound effect. I love Google and their sound effects for their timers. It makes me so happy. Back on the couch now. I am on page 176 with Miss Eleanor. She's, I think, at lunch with Raymond. Oh, okay. She's at lunch with Raymond and she's accepting her promotion. So far, this book is, I think it's really good. I wasn't expecting to be dark in some themes, and like the content that it has, but that doesn't mean that I don't like it. It's just I was just caught off guard. I definitely underestimated what type of book this is. I thought it was going to be a typical coming of age. She finds, like, I think I was expecting I think it's Nora Roberts, the one who made Same Time Last Summer. I think I was expecting to be this type of book. And I'm glad it's not, though. It's definitely more realistic in some aspects. I do feel like Eleanor, I think she's in her 30s or late 20s. I feel like I relate to her in some ways where she kind of has I don't want to say awkward, but she has like a somewhat observant role that she always plays into. And the thing is, she doesn't have to play into it. It's just that that's what she chooses to do. I don't know, just a lot of hesitancy to connect with people, but at the same time, though, when you see it from her point of view, people are really seen as annoying or very, talkative, and they also gossip a lot of stuff, like especially with her workplace people. So I relate to her in that aspect, but I also like how even though she is choosing to isolate herself, she understands the ramification that comes with that, where she does feel lonely or she does realize, oh, because my mom is currently in this situation, I have to talk to her even though I don't want to. It's not that I don't know how I feel about this book. It's just that there's so much going on layered wise with this book that I'm just like, wow, I really need to take the time to process it once I'm done with this book to rate it accurately. I think it's interesting that her social worker has to do not weekly, not monthly either, yearly yearly visits with her, even though she's well past the foster care system. But I do think that's because, this isn't in America, this is in Scotland. So I also feel like that was interesting there. I already know for a fact that her crush, it's not gonna go well. But I think that's the whole part of like growing up, especially as someone, I don't want to say she's sheltered, but I do feel like she's sheltered at the same time. Like, I feel like she dealt with a lot in life, and as a result, she's choosing to live this shelter life, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, it's okay. It makes sense for me, so. But I'm gonna put on some lo-fi. I got about 16 minutes before my cinnamon rolls are done, and I will update you on Eleanor then. Oh, okay, so I only literally read a paragraph, but I totally forgot about the old man. I think his name is Sammy. Yeah, Sammy. Okay, I'm right. So I forgot about the old man, Sammy. My heart really hurt for Eleanor. Like, I didn't want to cry, but like my heart wanted to cry, if that makes sense. When he held her hand and she realized, like, oh yeah, this is nice. Like, I like this. Like, I don't want to call her emotionally distant though, but that's like the closest thing I can think of. Or when the distant character, when they finally got like some type of warmth given to them and they're used to like other things because of their bad pasthood or their bad childhood. Usually, they do that, like they stiffen, they like fight back. For Eleanor, I feel like although she does tense up when other people her age hug her, when it comes to the elderly, I feel like she does have a really soft spot for them. That might be because of her mom, but still, I really like that detail a lot. And again, with Raymond, I keep wanting to say Raymond. With Raymond's mom, when she held her too, or held her hand, like I love how she's identifying that she likes this warm feeling. Unfortunately, though, she's definitely putting it on a person, and I feel bad that it's not gonna go well for her, or at least that's what I think. But it makes me all the more excited to see how she's gonna do after that, like hurt and after that aftermath. So yeah, I just want to let you know about that. All right, back to reading. my god. I can't. No. Sammy! No. Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. Why am I? I'm not gonna. No, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. Okay. Yo. I made it to a sad part of the story, and Eleanor being Eleanor. I don't know why. Eleanor is pretty funny to me, but I also understand that she really like she genuinely does mean it whenever she says stuff that is technically inappropriate. And I feel bad because to me it's kind of funny, but obviously in a real life scenario, you're not supposed to say that. So I don't know why. That's just funny to me. Oh my gosh. And like you can tell she's very logical about stuff like that too, especially when bad stuff happens. She's just kind of like, okay, well, it was probably this, and that, or oh, you could have prevented it by this, and that, or yeah. I think it's always interesting seeing that cliche of like the emotionless robot developing feelings. When I don't think I see her like that. I just think of someone as a very routine person realizing there's more than the daily 9 to 5, or there's more out of life that you can get. The way that this book started out, I was seeing it like a montage of a woman going to her job, typing, going back home, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then even after her crush, and even after meeting Raymond, I feel like she realized as she's like typing at her like desk, and let's just say it's by a window because this is where it makes sense for me. She like stops, looks out the window, and realizes, oh, it's a really beautiful day out. Like I should go out there. I should enjoy this day. I feel like that's something beautiful about this book too. I'm not sure if this counts as literary fiction. I'm not really good with identifying my genres, you guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. I pick up a book, I like it, or I hear the book is good, I read it, and that's it. So I'm gonna get better at that though. I know with my birthday haul, I got a lot of literary books. So I am excited to read it and see if that's also a genre that I like to have. So yeah, my cinnamon rolls are done. Ah, there's so much. Ta-da! I'm letting them cool off for a little bit, and then I also need to change my shirt because I'm a messy eater. It's a sad but true statement. Another thing I wanted to mention too before I got back into it, I love how I'm gonna call him Ray because I feel like I'm pronouncing it wrong, and I'm just very subconscious about that now. But I like how Ray is very patient with Eleanor. I feel like this book has a lot of tropes, but not in like in a relational, like romantic sense. Just like in a a basic friendship type of sense, or just relational. But you can tell that Ray is very patient with Eleanor, and I like how he pushes her out of her comfort zone, but he doesn't push her to the point where it's annoying, in my opinion. I feel like it's the cliche golden retriever black cat friendship, but like, yeah, that's the way I see it. So shout out to Ray for this. He's the real MVP in the story. And I feel like, again, no spoilers because I'm trying to work on that. But she's out shopping for some clothes, and she finally purchased like a pair of kitten heels, right? And when she gets them, she's kind of like, okay, like, why are they called kitten heels? Or, okay, I'm told they're very feminine, but like, why are they feminine? Like, what's the point of this, basically? And then she even bought herself like an actual purse, right? And I don't know, there's just something like, I feel like I'm being dramatic when I say this, but I'm gonna still say it anyway. There's something so beautiful about like learning how to be a woman or learning how to be an adult. And I just feel like she's finally taking those baby steps in not just her appearance, but just how she treats herself. I'm not looking forward to her next talk with her mother. Every time I see the word mummy on this page, I tense up because I'm just like, it's not going to end good. Like it's a pattern. It's insanity expecting something else different, but you still repeat the same action. Like, so I'm not looking forward to that, but I am glad that she's taking the time to like figure out what she likes in a way. I don't know. I just feel like that was such a very impactful scene, even though it was literally like a page long. But I like stuff like that. Even the fact of, let me see, back to the kitten heels, right? They were heels which were easy to walk in, which were nonetheless very feminine. On what basis was this decided, and by whom? Did it matter? I made a mental note to research gender politics and gender identity at some point. There will be a book about it. There are books about everything. Something about that just like hit me where it's like, it made her really think like, okay, why is things the way that they are? And it's not in a, and it's, for me, I feel like it wasn't even taken in a bad sense where she usually does. It's just more of a, okay, I got these heels, they're known as feminine, but why? And then in her Eleanorness, she decided to research it, or she decided to research it at some point in time. So I don't know, I feel like that's a hint of the new Eleanor, if that makes sense. So yeah. Gosh, I really like this book. I hope this becomes a movie one day because I feel like there's a lot of late 20 something, 30 something year olds who are still going through life and there's things that they never tried before. And I feel like in this sense, it's very relatable. Eleanor. He's good. Oh my gosh, Ray is good. Oh my gosh. Oh, good. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, Ray's good. He knows how to handle Eleanor. That's hilarious. I can't even. I'm just gonna say it's page 194. That got me. That got me. Okay. I got about 15ish, 20 minutes before I need to head out to church, so I figured why not do my makeup real quick and yeah, maybe chit chat. So right now, I guess I'm gonna do my concealer. I'm gonna make it like really quick because I do feel like doing it, but I don't want to be here too long. I'm gonna try to do something light, and we'll just see how it goes. Like I said, the book is going well. I am really enjoying it. I think I'm almost at the 200-page line, and I think after that's like 115, maybe 100 and some change. I think it's gonna be like 120 or 130 pages afterwards. So if I can finish that up today, that would be amazing. I'm actually a little self-conscious doing my makeup It's my first time doing it in front of people. I typically do it in the bathroom and I stand up doing it. But I wanted to make sure I get a good angle with my camera. I'm still reading a sad part in Eleanor, so I'm going through that. But before I read that, or before I got to that sad part in the book, she had a phone call with her mom, and she's like, "Oh, I want to tell you two things. One, because she's telling her about her crush, right? She's being both descriptive but also vague about it, which I do commend her for having those boundaries in place. But her mom's like, I can make things go faster because, they're taking too long, basically. And then two, she decided to tell her, like, oh, she's just like a waste of space or a waste of tissue, of human tissue. And I'm just like, what the heck? Like, Eleanor she didn't deserve that. And it's just sad because you can tell, or at least for me, I can tell she's realizing, like, this isn't healthy. She says something about bipolar, manic bipolar, that she recognizes it. But I feel like this is probably a moment, or there's going to be a time where she's going to have to decide to possibly go no contact with her mother, which I do think she would have to do. But I also understand that's not like an easy thing to do at the same time. I guess I could talk more about like the shows I've been watching, because like I said, I only finished 2 books technically this month. So again, I'm watching One Piece. I finished Skypiea last month, so that was actually pretty good. I'm not sure why people say that they skip it or that it doesn't help out with the story. For some reason, I thought I'm in like the Long Ring Island arc. I thought that was Thriller arc for some reason. I think it's because, Luffy had his afro, so I was thinking, oh, that's Thriller bark. I don't know why I thought that. I mean, I don't love it, but it is what it is. So far, it's a decent show. I do think it's way too long. That's always going to be a thing for me. But I can see why people hype it up, and I understand why it's definitely one of the big 3 for sure. The story, the character's backstory as well, very well done, and a lot of world building too, which I appreciate. If it was an actual book, that would have been a bit confusing, or like it would have been kind of hard to understand and grasp. But seeing it and actually like understanding how it works, especially with like the double fruits, I think that was well done for sure. Favorite character right now? Okay, remember, I don't know anything about the new episodes. I only saw a little bit of Wano here and there, but that's it. So up until episode 216, I don't know the exact like timing for it, but all I know it was exactly episode 216. I did like Sanji. I really did. I understand his problem and I understand his issues. Don't get me wrong. I really do. I was rooting for him though. Up until 216, I was a Sanji fan. Now I like Zoro, definitely like Robin. I don't know her backstory though, so that's why she's not like my go-to just yet. I also understand Nami's point of view too. I saw a post where someone was saying that each of the straw hats represent a certain type of freedom. And for now, I think I kind of sort of agree with that. Or I understand Nami's point of view. I definitely see that financial freedom theory being taking place. I don't know if it's fully true though. I think I put blush too low on my cheek. Maybe I could blend it up. Well, that's what I get for trying to put on makeup with no glasses. And I do have contacts, but I don't feel like wearing it today. Also, the new ones I got, not accidentally, I decided to do dailies for once because I figured, oh, I don't use my monthlies that much. But now that I got my dailies, I actually like them a lot more. So, but now I want to go back to monthlies. So I learned my lesson though. Okay, so I did blush. I did concealer. I still look the same, honestly. I'm watching Hajime Ippo. That one is really, really good. It makes me want to work out, or it makes me want to wake up like at 2 o'clock in the morning and work out and just honestly be just a better person and be in a better, or not even being in better, but be in a healthier point in my life. So that's definitely something I've been watching more. And it got me more interested in boxing. I used to be interested in boxing when I was little, but now I actually want to like book like a session and again have like a training montage and do the whole thing. I like the intro, and it's definitely, an older anime, but I don't mind that at all. I think some of their jokes definitely are a bit outdated, but you know, it's not too annoying for me. I do need to finish season 1 of Solo Leveling so that way I can watch season 2. Like, it's good, don't get me wrong. It's just some characters annoy me, but also I don't know why. It's taking me a little bit to get into. But I like the idea, I like the concept a lot, and I keep hearing how good season 2 is, so I just need to lock in and just finish season 1. My goals, though, maybe because the problem is Hajime Ippo and One Piece, they're long animes. Ippo is 76 episodes, and I'm on like episode 15, maybe 16. So that's gonna take me a while to finish. But I want to watch Frieren, and again, I want to try to do it in pairs. I want to watch Frieren and Vinland Saga. I haven't watched the newest season of that. Like I didn't drop it. It's just I just wasn't interested when it came out. So I think those two will be a really good pairing. And I keep hearing how good Frieren is. And then the eyeshadow I'm using is Warrior by Juvia's. They're very the Warrior by Juvia. And I think this is the first original one. I was told by a friend that this is very pigmented, and I kind of agree. But then again, it's like really like neutral browns, so I feel like for me it's not that bad. It's just like maybe this top one, Mino. The top one, Mino, I should probably be a little careful with that. Because I don't want to look like I got like a black eye or something. My go-tos are usually Kano, which is this like nice brown one right here. And then sometimes I like to do like a little shimmer, which I think I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna do this one and this one. And then I'll probably do Mino as like my little eyeliner if I have time. Yeah, and then speaking of, since I am going to church, might as well talk about our good Lord and Savior. So I'm currently doing a Bible plan. It's the Bible recap plan where you're supposed to read the Bible chronologically in 1 year. I failed the 1 year thing. I'm just gonna let you know that right now. I think I started that last year, maybe the year before. So I don't really care too much about finishing it in a year anymore. I do want to read it chronologically. So I'm still following it. I'm just taking my time with it and just doing it day by day. I'm currently on Judges. And fun fact, when I did try reading the Bible cover to cover, I always stopped at the Leviticus, Number, Deuteronomy trio. That was always hard. I know that's hard on a lot of people that read the Bible, but I finally finished Deuteronomy, and then I got into Joshua, and I realized, like, I've heard of the other books during like sermons and stuff, but when it actually came time to me actually reading the actual book, I never done that before. So I never sat down and was like, let me read Joshua for the first time, or let me read Joshua. Never did that until now. So I finished Joshua. I'm now in Judges, and it's always funny to me because the way that the author wrote the devotional, she does it in a way that describes each chapter or each book when you read it by the first chapter. I get to Judges, and I took a peek at the next day because I'm reading Judges. I think that looks kind of good. The first sentence I see is, Judges is a book about wicked and bloody stories. I'm like, oh, we're setting the tone right away. We have enough time for shimmer. We don't have time for eyeliner. It's kind of scary doing this blind. At first I was like, oh dang, like what in the world happened? But then I realized what happened. You know, the Israelites obviously broke their covenant. So we're just reading of what everything that Moses, God, and Joshua told the Israelites was going to happen happened. So far it's pretty good. I'm on chapter 3 right now. I have to read 3, 4, and 5 today. So I usually try to do it early in the morning, but I did sleep in a bit today. And another thing too, I want to get more into Christian reading or Christian fiction. And like, I know Francine Rivers, I know she's really good. I read Redeeming Love from her last year. Definitely loved it. I want to watch the movie. And I have her other book that I heard that was really good. I think Voices in the Wind, or A Voice in the Wind. I haven't started that one out yet, but I just heard it was good, so I got it, to be quite honest with you. So hopefully it's good. I want to find more other Christian fiction. Again, nothing wrong with Francine Rivers, but I want to read like Black Christian like fiction. I heard of two. One that's I keep seeing all over Instagram. I'll show you the picture of it, but I don't really remember the name. All I know is that it's a trilogy, so I'm gonna get that one. And then the other one, I heard from this other booktuber I watch, Alexandria. I think it's Though I Stumble series. That one I heard it was really good. I love the colors, or not the colors. I love the covers. It looks really simple, but like it's cartoonish, but not in like the cliche, oh, it has smut covers. It's just more like, I feel like that's something that I would see my mom reading when I was younger. My camera battery's low. Plus, I gotta go anyway, so I think I'm gonna stop here. I usually do my lips as well. This is how it looks. This is usually how I like attend church. I'm trying to do better with like more like dresses and more feminine wear. It's just cold today, so I'm going to be bundled and cozy. But yeah. All right. Hopefully next time I talk to you guys, I'll be having a better update with Eleanor, or finish with Eleanor, and then that way we can move over to the next book. I really appreciate you guys sticking with me with this series. I'm really trying to be more consistent with it. But yeah. All right. Talk to you later. It is 10:17 p.m. and I have finished Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine. Did I cry reading this book? Yes, I did. Was I ready for that? No, I wasn't. My rating for this book is a 4 out of 5 stars. I'm gonna be honest, this is gonna have some slight spoilers because I just can't help it. The twist I was not expecting the twist at the end. The mom. Everything else that happened, I kind of could guess a little bit. I was like, okay, I figured. But the mom, that one really got me. And I feel like what literary fiction does well is, although it's pretty like mundane with its description, or it's like everyday stuff, it's like, no, this is relatable stuff because you're going through it yourself. So now that I know what I know at the end, it really just put me through the ringer. It was well done. I do feel like some of the pacing was a little bit slow. I really liked how realistic it was. One of the things I said earlier was how I was scared about her crush, you know? I think that was handled way better than I imagined, to be quite honest with you. She, you know, it did crush her, obviously, but I feel like the way it happened was done it was done with dignity, because what I was imagining was way worse than what happened in the book. So I'm happy with that. One of the things I feel like I'm discovering that I like within literary fiction is how, I don't know if it's like a lyrical description, but I like the certain line that Gail put in the book that described this moment between Eleanor and Raymond. It could be taken romantically. It can also be taken non-romantically as well. And I feel like everyone has this type of moment when they're just hanging out with the people that they love, or just hanging out with their friends, and they realize this is a nice moment. Like, this is going to be a nice memory. I just want to read that line real quick. The moment hung in time like a drop of honey from a spoon, heavy, golden. I don't know why that part stuck with me from this entire book. That's like literally my favorite line right there. And going back to the mother, this is going to be spoilers. I can handle the fact that her sister passed in the fire. I can handle that. Is it sad? Absolutely. I think it was just because we were at the 75% mark or 80% mark when she mentioned her name, and I was kind of like, okay, I can kind of guess where this is going. But the fact that her mother also died in the fire, and that means she was sitting there every Wednesday night on the phone listening to like all of the bad stuff that her mom is telling her, which I guess in actuality is herself. Like, she was just sitting there listening to an empty phone. Like, that's just spooky to me. I feel like if this was an actual like movie, that's something, maybe A24, definitely Lifetime. I feel like Lifetime will pull that type of stunt. But reading that really threw me for a twist. And again, I feel like this is something that maybe a silent patient tried to do, but for some reason it just didn't work for me. This was well done though, for sure. I can see why this is called a coming of age story. I can definitely see the audience being, you know, people in their late 20s / going to their 30s. Yeah, Kalila, I can see why this is your favorite book, for sure. I know you have another book that you mentioned on your channel. I think it was like Dark Matters, something like that. That's definitely gonna be added to my TBR. Will I get to it soon? Probably not, but this was an enjoyable read for sure. 4 out of 5 stars. The next booktuber that I've been watching in 2024 is Pham. I feel like a lot of people know her. I found her obviously as I was trying to get back into reading. The way that she does her editing, the way that she talks about books, again, another genuine book reader, book lover, and her current like library as well I wish. That's my dream. That's my dream goal in the future. One of the books that she mentioned that was like her 6-star read that really called out to me, Catherine Stenner, Hello Stranger. This is the book that I was inspired to pick from her. I'm gonna read the blurb for this one. I literally read only 4 pages so far, so just bear with me. It's all starting to come together for struggling artist Sadie Montgomery. She was just named a finalist in the National Portrait Competition of her dreams. But when she winds up with a rare but real condition where human faces look like jumbled puzzle pieces, it is, to say the least, not good. With only a few weeks to paint the best portrait of her entire life, Sadie will do anything to reverse her condition and get back to work. But it's anyone's guess when or if that will happen. Enter her dog's charming veterinarian, who may or may not be Sadie's daydream fiance, and her bowling jacket wearing, beast beriding neighbor, who she can't seem to stay away from, both vying for her attention and adding to the chaos. It's a lot, but that doesn't mean it's bad. Because the truth is, seeing the world differently has its upsides, and love has an undeniable way of giving us courage, and the best way of looking is always with the heart. This is the first book I heard of someone dealing with face blindness. Now, the first time I've ever heard of the term face blindness, honestly, was from The Apothecary Diaries, and implied spoilers, but there is a character that has that condition. And I feel like the way that they did that was so well done. The way that that character sees people, they see it kind of like checkered or chess pieces in a way where they categorize that person, and they can kind of put like the voice with the person, but if they're in a crowd or something like that, or a place that they don't tie to that particular person, there's no way they can remember it. Simple as that. So I'm very curious to see how a book does that with face blindness, especially because, again, within the Apothecary Diaries, they had that, obviously, that visual representation for it. So I'm very curious to see how this is gonna go. We also got some romance in here. I believe there's a love triangle between her veterinarian, her dog's veterinarian, and her neighbor. I'm curious to see if it's like the same person. I feel like that might be a spoiler for myself, but whatever. I am excited to read this book. Like I said, I only started 4 pages on it, so they're still setting up the groundwork for it, but so far so good. So I'll hopefully do an update maybe in a couple of days or so. I want to be within the 50-page/100-page marks, so that way I can kind of give you a better update and also kind of give you more of that reading vlog vibe as well. So I'll talk to you guys soon.